Good morning, everyone. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. This week we are using Tarot of the Spirit. There's information about this deck in the description box below. These messages are timeless, so whenever you happen to find this video and you decide to watch, there's likely a message here for you. But do remember, these messages are general and for the collective. So take what resonates and leave the rest behind. You are, of course, invited and encouraged to tune into your own intuition, your own higher self, spirit guides, inner guidance, however you refer to it, so that whatever card does show up, you might receive your own personal messages and insights. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me. I really do truly appreciate you all showing up, watching the videos, and then whatever you do to support the channel is, you know, of course, always welcomed and appreciated and loved. So much love to all of you. Okay, I think we're ready. The Devil. Breaking free. Reigniting passion. Yeah, both of those things. For some who are watching, it could be both of those things, you know, and both. But I am getting this interesting dichotomy where I'm feeling there are some who are breaking free from old patterns or beliefs that kept us chained, and limited in some way. And there seems to be like a breakthrough moment here. It's with that breakthrough moment that we can sometimes recognize or begin to act on our passions or what really motivates us and drives us, or, you know, the thing that we value and get excited about. Having that breakthrough moment where we recognize our own power in these chains, because the devil really just represents a certain aspect within ourselves, like a shadow aspect that we feel that maybe we've rejected or that we've, you know, set aside. So this is kind of like a breakthrough in recognizing, wait a minute, my passion, my drive, my motivation, my deepest soul desires actually lives in those shadows. And so I need to, you know, bring that part of myself back into play. And so we make that breakthrough. And on the other hand, there could be some of you who are, you know, have been through several breakthroughs with this energy where you know what your purpose or passion or priority is. And not that you don't value other things, but you know what that focal point of, like, you know, this is a part of who I am. This is what I'm meant to do. This is what I love doing. And we've had some of those breakthroughs, but there could be some kind of a lingering belief or this final integration of that shadow aspect of, like, recognizing the strength that, you know, was previously looked at as a weakness. We recognize that, hey, that's where our motivation is, or that's where our strength lives, or that's a part of it. And so it's almost like this final integration that allows you to move forward, either move forward on your passion or purpose, or level it up. There's big changes sort of astrologically at the time that I'm recording this video, and it's striking a chord of new beginning for a lot of us. And that's not to say that we're going to completely scrap everything that we've been doing. Although if you feel like that's what you need to do, then this could be relating to that kind of a breakthrough. But it could also be, again, shifting or changing up what it is that we've been doing in order to elevate it to another level. And so I feel like this is, whether you're having your first breakthrough and, you know, you're getting past a bunch of old habits or limiting beliefs and you're getting ready to make some big changes, or whether you've gone through some breakthroughs, whether you've, you know, looked at the shadow aspects of your personality, the things that you've either thought of as weaknesses or tried to deny, and you're kind of doing that final integration, like breaking the last link in the chain, right? That could be the energy that's at play here. So the guidance that I'm getting from Spirit for us at this time, with today's energy, is, and it's not just today, but since I'm doing daily energies, you might find it very prominent today, or you might work this into your meditations or your journaling or whatever practice that you do, because this energy has probably been around for a couple of weeks, and at least, and will be continuing. The guidance that they're giving me is that we look at the rough places. They lean into the rough places. So if there are certain challenges or annoyances or disturbances to our inner peace, so to speak, that come up today, which of course, you know, there's always things, little things to big things that can come up in life. But they're saying, like, if something stands out as being like having a lot of resistance or friction, or you know, being a challenge, or like almost nagging us, you know, whether it's something in the back of our mind that just keeps spinning around in circles, or whether it's something that presents itself in a situation today, or in an encounter or circumstance or something of that nature, that we're invited to look at that to look at the feelings that come up. They're pointing not just to a limiting belief, but they're also pointing to something that perhaps we already, like, I'm getting a sense of we've already learned something, or already worked on something, and it's coming up because we haven't fully integrated it. Or there's this energy of needing to look at the strength. Like, that's like the final part of the integration or the process of this in order to be able to release it. So especially if it is a feeling that, is consistently triggered or intensely triggered whenever it is, they're saying not to focus on the situation that is presenting it to you, not that you're going to completely, discount whatever it is that you might have to deal with, but more so that you're not going to want to attach the emotion that's been triggered to the situation. You're going to need to, it's almost like detaching them to handle the situation, but recognizing that emotion that's been triggered, there's a strength. It's not just what we learned about ourselves or the world or, a new way of doing something or a new perspective or something like that. They're saying the way to really own that is to recognize the strength that it's giving you. So there's something that gets triggered, that could get triggered. And again, it doesn't have to be super drastic or intense, but it could be, depending upon where you're at, in life or in terms of, mental emotional balancing, and, which could be challenging right now. For a lot of people, for most of us, actually. Especially if you follow the news. You don't even have to follow astrology. You could just be watching the news. But the thing is that when that emotion gets triggered, they're saying don't look at the situation that's pushing the button. Look at the button that's being pushed. And they're saying, there's a reason it's there. It's, it's been hardwired. And you don't have to go root it out and rewire it necessarily. They're saying that it's been misused, but it's not wrong. It's how are you going to interpret the information that it's sending you? So it's kind of like having a refined, sensitive nerve ending, and there's something valuable there that we need to integrate into our way of, doing, being, perceiving. Like, we need to allow that to be what it is if it's part of our personality. But there's some level of, we've already learned this lesson a couple of times, but the last link in the chain to fully integrate these lessons and to fully own, heal from maybe the situations that cause or trigger them, but fully own the self-empowerment of our own ability to handle certain situations, to hold certain boundaries appropriately, that kind of a thing. So it almost feels like today's energy could have an opportunity, again, in those rough places, in the friction or the challenges or the questions that come up, for us to be able to, maybe this is like later on in the day when you review your day and you go, look at that. Or it could be something like important that you actually have to say, okay, time out. I need to take a minute and, process this. I'll call you back in an hour or something like that, right? It's not saying don't handle your situations at hand, but it is saying, take the opportunity to reflect on those emotions. So this is like a self-awareness of emotions, especially when they're challenging emotions or heavy emotions, or intense emotions. If they end up being triggered, it's more so an energy of not trying to just stop the trigger, but to also then look at, wait a minute, there's something powerful for me here in this. And it's not just the memory of a lesson that I learned. It's actually like something that I can actively use. I can actively use this as a strength. And I just looked over and saw my strength stone. So there's some kind of a strength that could be brought out up to the surface today that we had previously not seen. It had kind of been hidden in the edges, in the shadows. That's why the devil's bringing it out, because this, whatever this strength is, or whatever this sense of empowerment that has come from a long time of learning certain lessons and trying to balance certain emotions, it's like the final link in the chain that sets you free. There's this important sense of empowerment that could come up. It could be in today's energy, especially the closer that we get to, again, at the time that I'm recording this, we've got a new moon solar eclipse going on in a couple of days. And so, that could be bringing a heightened sense. But whenever you happen to watch this, it doesn't quite matter. Maybe there's an astrological influence that's bringing a heightened sensitivity, that's allowing certain triggers to be easier than usual. Since you've gone through a certain process, certain amount of healing and everything like that, and you're like, that's unusual. I thought I was doing so well. And it's like it's pointing to a strength that you now need to own, that came from those experiences that you helped yourself through. So I certainly hope that made sense to everybody. Fascinating energy. Whatever's on the other side of this energy is definitely something that's going to help with not just self-empowerment in general, but also a particular strength that could be utilized again in this up-leveling of whatever your passion or your passion project or your purpose or your direction shift, whatever is going on in that realm of how you do you in the world and what that looks like for you, either personally or professionally or, in your community or whatever it is. Just being you is fulfilling your purpose. And whatever this is that shows up, it's like this hidden strength or unrecognized strength that is in one fashion or another going to be presented to you through the day's energies is the thing that when you apply it to what it is that you're doing is going to help to up-level it. That's why it's important to especially pay attention to the rough places, the friction, the challenges, at least at the end of the day, whether you think something major happened or not, you could have kept your emotions on an even keel. I'd suggest doing a journaling exercise at the end of the day and see if anything, do a stream of consciousness or, write out the things that that challenged you or the things that, the emotions that felt off or the situations around them, not to dive into the situation itself, but rather to see how it feels, right? And then to dive into those feelings and say, what is this pointing towards? So So you could end up just doing a review at the end of the day. But this is to bring some kind of self-awareness to a strength that came from certain lessons that maybe you've not yet recognized, which needs to be integrated, because that's going to help you to be free to, again, move forward, up level, fully integrate and break free or break through where you might feel blocked. Peace and blessings, and lovely journeying to all of you. Thank you again for being here, and I will talk to you tomorrow.